So if you want to improve your riding and the peace and quiet without any distractions, come up here during the week. Not in the school holidays though, so as you can see, it's dead. It's lovely and quiet. That's what I did when I was learning to jump. Came up here every opportunity I could, especially when it was quiet, and just practice on these little jumps here. Start on that one and work your way up. Don't worry about clearing the whole line, just concentrate one jump at a time. When you've got that one nicely and consistently, move on. I think it took me about 2 weeks to get this full line consistently. Then I moved on to the next one. That was about a similar time as well, a few weeks, just consistently going over and over and over before I was getting, particularly that last one, that was the toughest to get at the time. But yeah, so in the space of about a month, I think I'd done these first 2 lines, and then started on the 3rd line, and I think I nearly fell off the first attempt that I did. And again, that was probably a little bit longer, especially with that last one, but these have changed several times since I started learning to do them. But yeah, these are a little bit more difficult to get, and just keep going backwards and forwards, keeping your hand in on the smaller ones as well. So I think I started in, it was beginning of the year, January, February time, so the conditions weren't great, and by the summer I plucked up enough courage to do these. Towed in very kindly for the first time by Roy, and I managed to do the first 2, and then it was a couple of weeks before I cleaned the full line. Still never done the right line. We'll get around to it one day. Just not that bothered at the minute, just having fun. That's how long it took me to learn to jump, but it is repetition, learning from what you think you're doing wrong until it feels comfortable, until you can break it down and understand what the bike's doing, what you're doing, and why it's working, why it's not working. Eat, sleep, repeat. So yeah, if you want a bit of quiet time, come up here during the week, but don't fall off, because nobody will find you for about a week. Go and do the little line, I've done that for ages. Straight to flat. Little brake tap for this one, because it's very short, and that'll see you nicely over the 4th one without losing any speed into the last one. That 3rd one is the key to the whole line. It's still very short, and if you clean the first 2 without doing anything, the chances are you'll land very flat, very deep on that 3rd one. All your speed will disappear. You'll case the 4th one, and by the time you get to the 5th one, it's game over. You're out of juice. On a big bike anyway. And on the left line of the gaps, I think the 2nd jump is key. Again, I have to take a little bit of speed off it after that first one, otherwise there's a tendency to land really deep and flat, and then that can completely balls you up for 3 and 4. On a big bike you might need to put a crank in, or half a crank, for the final one, not on a dirt jumper. Again, depending on how well you jump, you can lose a lot of speed on that 3rd one, but there's plenty of time to get a safety crank in if you need it. Conditions are dry like this, you don't need loads of speed either. Took a bit of speed, pedal, and boot it. I did land that 2nd one a little bit deep then, deeper than I thought I would, but just had to pull a bit more for that third one. There is a tendency, if you're doing these for the first time, that you'll go way too quick because you just want to get over it, and that's fine if you're just going to do the first one, because then there's plenty of time to peel off here to the left and then recalibrate and do it enough times, and you'll learn the speed and you'll realise that you don't need to be flat out. You want to be landing as close to the top of that casing as possible. Then you've got that whole transition to keep your speed, and again, you can either scrub a little bit of speed by braking, you can squash the jump, or you can transition from right to left to make the jump a bit longer, because that second one does come up a little bit short, which can lose all the speed for the third one. But it's just practice, getting used to the speed. But there is not one consistent speed for the whole line on most of these, so it's a case of learning them, learning what works and what doesn't. A day like today, absolutely perfect for coming up here and having a practice without fear of anybody or thinking anybody's looking at you, talking about you. I can assure you they're probably not. I used to think exactly the same. I used to come up to the bike park and I'd go and sit on that rock, hide out of the way, and if anybody was here I'd probably turn around and go home or go back on the trails. So it is very, very intimidating when you're first learning to jump, because you think everybody's looking at you. Look at him, look at her, look at that idiot, what are they doing, what's he think he's doing? It's not the case at all. 99% of people that are up here, that are regular riders here, will go out of the way to try and help you, and they'll offer you bits of advice and help on what you can do, whether that's technique, whether that's bike setup, or whatever. So don't be afraid to go and talk to somebody, because they are a friendly bunch up here, and it's a great place to come and learn. Once you've got these dialed, it will give you a whole different outlook on what to do when you go out on the trails. You'll start looking at things differently, you'll start seeing lines that you didn't see before. Probably jump off that, jump off this. So yeah, it is a great skill to have, and never say never. Lots of people say I'm too old for this. No, you're not. I'm 54. I think I've still got a little bit left in me yet for a good while. It just comes down to having a bit of bottle and having the time to practice. And that's it. Anybody can do it, seriously. Much better if you turn the camera on.